of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We don't have a very large agenda this evening, and we're going to start with talking about the budget again, primarily because of some great news that we received at the very end of last week, and that is that our insurance premium increase, which we started the budget process at 15%, reduced it to 12 after we got some news for what the average increase would be this year in the insurance group. When we got our rate, it came in at 2.5%, which I think is the result of the GIC being brought forth and the insurance companies starting to take another look at how aggressive they want to get associated with maintaining their clients.
Competition.
Yeah,
Right.
competition, right.
Competition.
Just like
It's a good thing.
Verizon and Comcast. Anyway, I put up a couple of slides. Seeing we have a few people in the audience, on the papers to hand out. I'm just going to go through them right away. This is kind of a history. So, what we've got here is additional revenue to distribute. It's not like we've got more revenue, but we've got less expense. So the tune of, I guess we got another vocational school assessment number, or refined number, and we've picked up another $6,471 from the Voc school assessment. Great, that's the number I got off the bill list.
Yes, is actually in the board's packet this evening. One of the photocopies, you have a copy of the letter that came from the Voc school that just authenticates that number.
And then the additional health insurance savings was $377,810. And we got that, we were using 12%, so in the benefits for this coming year, for new employees, we were using that figure. So some of the phase one money had to be backed out. We didn't need quite as much for each of the FTEs that we hired. So this is an adjusted number of $377,810, which gets us to an additional $384,281. Then we look at the school needs with a recalculated benefit number. The priority one, the school department needed $373,708, and we need the budget in the town side $73,800. I think we had 80-something, $83,000 a couple nights ago. I mean, a couple weeks ago. So that's a total of $447,508, which we've already covered. In priority two, the school department's looking for $308,718, and the benefits for that would be $64,575. For a total of $373,293. And at this point, I'm going to recommend to the board, and then we'll open it for discussion, that one is that we fully fund phase two of the school's recovery budget request and the expected 2.5% health insurance increase. I got rescind the board's vote, but we really didn't vote. We just took a consensus of whether or not we would put in a Proposition 2.5 override to cover general government, 2.5 general government override in May 6th town ballot. And three, and we'll talk about this later, I'm recommending we establish a financial advisory committee charged with reporting to the October 2008 town meeting options for fully funding and sustaining town and school needs by FY 2011. Recommendations should include ideas for new revenue, changes in employee benefits, and restructuring of general government, public safety, DPW, and school operations. So with that, I will open the topics up for discussion.
So where were we, Mr. Chairman, in relation to priority two? I thought we were pretty much there at the last meeting.
No, we were not. What we did was, we covered priority one, and we were short $84,000, at which we proposed cuts of, by not hiring not filling two positions at Town Hall,
And cutting
and
rent.
taking an additional $25,000 from the recreational budget.
Right.
Right? Now, I'll put up the slide where we, I should have done that anyway, where we ended up a week ago was that an override question on March 17th, we voted, we didn't vote. We had a consensus of $451,922 from the town side. And that included restoring the trash.
I thought we voted on each and every one of the pieces. Or we voted about adding it back.
We had
Voted to add it back.
we had a majority on every one of those that
Right.
has a figure up there.
To add it back, if we did the override.
For an
But we didn't
override.
vote for the override.
Right, correct. Municipal small cap, this was money that we were gonna spend in October, free cash, we're putting it back in an override question. $33,000 for the DPW park salary, $45,495 for the recreation salary, $25,000 for the recreation expense. And to restore, safety DPW overtime, $39,407, which is $471,922. We also, in looking at that, then the override question was 67803, which was phase 2 and 3 of the school budget, plus the cost of benefits for that. Let's see if I can find that one. So this is school budget was looking for 497,203. $123,600 was the benefits. That was before the insurance adjustment. And to restore the 50,000 of small cap, that was money that was not going to be spent in April, but in October was 670,803. So take the
But this time we need 373 to fund two,
678,803.
priority two.
It would be a little less money, but partially restore the town administrator's cuts. As you recall, he took 184,000 off the budget back in December, which got the town budget to 3%, and that was 88,956. And then restore the cuts we made in March was 451,922, left us with an override ballot question of $1,211,681, and that's where we left off at our last meeting.
So if we just took the straight 370,000 off the bottom line there, they left everything alone, the override would be $370,000 less.
That's correct.
Right.
Yes.
I want to start by saying that it's important that people understand that this money is not found money. It's not money that just fell to us. Okay, it's money that, and I think the town administrator deserves a lot of credit. But this is the money that the board has worked on over the last year. The fact that we pushed GIC, the fact that one of the questions that was asked was what's being done for the future. And one of the things this board has done for the future is push for this GIC, push to save money in health insurance costs. And this is really, as Steve pointed out, this is Blue Cross Blue Shield realizing they had competition and stepping up now. Now, we knew, my feeling is that this is the goal we had always strived for to get, is this dollars. I think we maybe expected to get it last year. I think that's the surprise, is that we actually get it this year. But I think it's really not, unless people think that, people wondering what happens to the future. This is money that we will save next year and theoretically the year after. all right, for the same reason. So this is a real, true change and not a casual change. So I just wanted to say that. I want to congratulate the town administrator because I think he deserves a lot of credit as well. You want to hear on the adjustments?
It's open. We're at
I-
as of last week, right, we had a consensus for an override question of 1,211,681.
Yeah.
That was before we had knowledge of this
Right.
insurance change. With the insurance change, what the chairman of the board is recommending
Yeah.
was to fully fund Phase 2 of the school and take the override question off the ballot.
Yeah.
There are a number of us here present that had doubts whether or not an override would pass. That doesn't mean we shouldn't present one. It just, I know a couple of you have said that publicly. So,
I've always been in favor of not having an override. My feeling is that it's a pretty bad time, and it's not good leadership for us to do that. I think that, especially present an override that doesn't have a great chance of passing. I think it's not right to do. Last week, I gotta say that, last week in the paper, there were 4 foreclosures last week. 4 foreclosures in the town of North Reading. It's really not a good time. So I've never been in favor of putting the override on, and I think the board's worked hard to come up with a reasonable number. I'd be in favor of restoring priority 2, and voting against the override. Okay, I also would like to take the balance. There is a balance left here, and balance and give it to the collections, too, because I think that we get a serious problem down in the collection office.
okay,
So that's what I'd be in favor of doing.
I have spoken to both the chair of the school committee and the school superintendent. And at this point, I believe that if we proceed with providing full funding for Phase 2, that they will withdraw their request for an override. This leads into the last recommendation I make, we'll discuss after we get through this, and that is to find a way. What we have is a systemic problem. I think we all agree. We were here last year, the year before, trying to bring the budget together, right? And we're going to be faced with that this coming year, no matter what decisions we make here tonight. And what I want to do is, right after April town meeting, I want to get to work to, one, identify what that gap is, which we can make some cost estimates. I mean, we don't know what state aid is going to be, but, we can ballpark it, and then start to look at how we can close this gap. And the gap isn't going to be closed easily. I know that Mike, the other night, had some suggestions regarding revenue, new sources of revenue. I think Deanna Castro presented us a list of ideas. We need to pursue all of those. We need to make some organizational changes here at Town Hall. We need to make organizational changes at the school to quickly generate some efficiencies so that we're not back here next year trying to close a budget gap. That's going to take a fair amount of work, and I think we can draw on some people from the community to help us with that. There seems to be, right now, a lot of momentum to deal with that issue. So, if the board is willing and has the courage here tonight to take the additional funds and fund Phase 2, and then we can make a final decision on an override, and if we can close all of that out this evening, then I think we can start to focus on FY 2010. Mr. Vino.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, personally, I may be in the minority on this, but I'm willing to give the school the lion's share of it. But I would like to see the 2 positions in Town Hall. And what is the second position, Greg? The first one was the treasurer's office.
Public Works.
Was